Students who have connected online, am I audible? Can someone please confirm?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for confirmation. We'll start in a while. Just please stay connected. Okay, meanwhile, I am going to start Pega server. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts or any questions about the previous class, you can ask me. And what is the we were discussing about batch number 625, right?
Yes.
Hello.
Okay, we started looking at UI. Yes, please.
I have one doubt. If I create a property in a HDFC organization framework application, will it be accessible in a implementation organization if it is inherited?
Yeah, frame the question properly and just paste it here. I mean, like in the charting window, you can type it. Okay, frame it properly.
Sure.
What is our application?
HDFC.
HDFC. Okay. So once you post the question, let me know. Created one property in a HDFC organization of a W application. Will it be accessible into implementation application, HDFC organization class? So if you have created a property in organization class of framework application, that will be accessible into implementation application anywhere. Okay. And here HDFC organization is common for both applications. It will be accessible. Everywhere it will be accessible. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and start now. March 17th, 2025. Okay, we'll start now. 7 o'clock. We'll start now. See, last class we were discussing about user interface. Last class we were discussing about user interface. So if you want to create user interface in Pega, mainly you need to think about two rules as of now. One is section rule. Section rule is a UI rule which is used to design the user interface. So once you get a requirement to create a screen, immediately what rule should come to your mind is section. Section rule should come to your mind. So you need to create section rule if you want to create a screen. Okay. And in the section rule, we'll be having layouts. We'll be having one or more layouts. And the layout, whatever you have, okay, inside the layout, you would be adding controls. Inside the layout, what are you going to add? You are going to add controls. Okay, just give me 1 minute. I'll open theory document also. Okay, and after adding the controls, so in the user interface screens, controls holds the values at a outer structure or on the browser level. What we can experience is the value, whatever you input, it will be available in, you will be inputting inside a control only. So control holds a value. So the value that control holds will be given to the property in business logic, will be given to property inside business logic. Okay. So in a business logic, you'll be having something called properties. You'll be having something called properties. So this property and this control, you will be mapping. You will be mapping the property and control. One property and one control you will map. At the design time, we will be doing that. Okay. So the value you input into the control will be given to the property where we can see that. That I will show you later. Okay. So where we could see this particular property holding a value which you have input through control, that I'll be showing you after some time. Okay. Now let me minimize this. And that's what you're going to create user interface. For that, you need to deal with a rule called section. And the section you create, okay, is going to have one layout. And the layout is going to have controls. Controls are mapped to properties. So from this, what we can understand is before you create section, you should already have properties available with you. So property is a terminology specific to Pega. Coming to any other programming language, the same thing was called as variable. Variable is an attribute which holds a value at runtime. Variable is part of the business logic. Variable is part of the business logic. So internally in the business logic only, generally we deal with something called as variables. Okay. And the same variable, which is an attribute holding a value at runtime, in Pega terminology, it is called as property. Property is just like a variable in other programming languages. It holds a value at runtime. It holds a value at runtime. So this property mainly in UI, we map the controls with properties. Controls with the properties. We'll be mapping the controls with properties. Now, if you want to create user interface in Pega, there are two main steps as of now. Other than this, even two more steps are there. First one is identify and create all the required properties. Whatever the properties for this screen, what are the different properties I need, you need to identify. Generally, if you are a business owner, if you are a developer, in real time, you don't have to think about these things because when you get a business requirement, in the requirement in a table format, they will clearly mention what properties you need to create, name of the property, control of the property, what type of property it is, all that they will clearly tell you when it is business requirement. You are a developer. If you are a business owner, then you need to identify and think about all these properties that you need to create. Okay. So after the properties are ready, create a section, add controls into the section, map the controls to properties. And next one, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. So context at create form. What is the next one? The context at create form. What is the context you are going to follow? See, how do you know which context you need to choose? Okay. So for this, context means every rule when you are creating, it will ask about a context of which application and which class should contain your rule. So there are possible combinations like you can have implementation application in which you want to create either an organization class or implementation division class or work class. Yes, and if you want to create in framework application, you have again, you can create in HDFC class or you may create in FW class or like this. Now let's go to organization diagram. So I'll add more details about this. diagrams where I have. Suppose if you go to organization, okay. So as a developer, if you have to take a decision about in which class, in which level you need to create the rule. Do you want you have to create an organization or division classes or unit classes? How do you know that? See, between applications, framework application and implementation application, if the functional component or rule, if the rule that you want to create, is a common rule for all implementations, then you would be choosing framework application context. Between applications, either you may have to choose framework application or implementation. If the rule that you want to create should be accessible in framework as well as all the implementations, then you create in framework. If the rule has to be accessible only in one specific implementation application, then you create in implementation application. This is pretty much clear. Now classes, coming to class, you have three levels: organization class, division, and unit. If it is framework, you have one more division called FW. Okay, but that's okay. You can create an organization class. Suppose when you want to access the rule everywhere in your application, anywhere in your application, in any class, if you want to access any class in your application, if you want to access the rule anywhere, then the most appropriate place is organization class. Are you clear with this point? This is the beginning of today's session. So today, the rule context, I'm just making it more clear. The context enter, create form. So if you want to create rule, if you want the rule to be accessible, into framework application plus all implementations. We have only one, but in real time, maybe more than one. All implementation apps, then we create the rule. Where do you create? In which application? First application point I'm drafting. In which application you create?
Organization.
I'm asking here in a general sense.
In framework application.
In
Organization.
framework application. So if you want to create, if you want the role to be accessible into any class, of your entire business. Entire business means what? Framework plus any implementation. Then we create rule. In which class? Organization. So now suppose if you want the rule to be created, I mean, like it's related to one specific division and common to different units that are connected to the division. Two units are there here, U1, U2. So the rule is common to U1, U2, and it should be also accessible in one division, but that should not be accessible into higher level. So division and below units, it is common, but not with other divisions, division classes. In such a scenario, where do you create?
Division.
In the division class. Suppose if the rule is very common to only one specific unit, where do you create?
Unit.
I mean, like very specific to one unit, then where do you create? In that particular
work group.
So how do you know about these things? Only when you understand the business architecture. So before you become a developer, I mean, like before you work on the requirements in your project, first thing is you need to get the application KT. KT means knowledge transfer. Application KT from your tech leads or maybe business people. They should tell you about the architecture of your application. Once you know the functional architecture of your business application, then only you can be a good developer. Otherwise, you cannot. Otherwise, you cannot. So without knowing the business architecture, you will not be able to construct the business rules and place them at a proper position. You cannot do that. Okay. So first you need to focus on getting functional KT of your business application architecture. Next, technical KT of your technical implementation architecture of existing things. Then you can work as a developer. Okay. It will be easy for you to create all those things. They will give you. So organization, they may not give you full details all the time, where to create and all. Organization class is a common class, for FW and IMPL apps. Organization is a common class for FW. So mostly 99.9999% of times, if we are creating a rule, in organization class, we always prefer to choose FW application only. FW, see, the combination is possible. Which combination? Framework with organization class, implementation with organization class. This combination is possible combination, but though it is possible combination, if you are creating an organization class, means what is the meaning of it? You would really want that particular role to be accessible into every class of your business. So which is the best place application wise? Framework application. That's why this combination is going to be happen almost all the times. I have never seen a rule being created in implementation application with the organization class. I've never seen that. Okay, that's not, it's a possible thing, but we never do as for the business. Okay, now? So let's start now and work on the things. Okay, we are going to now learn how to create properties, how to create section. Okay, we are going to work on a requirement. So what is the requirement we are going to work on? I will draft the requirement.
Sir, I have a query on same part. Okay, on this organization.
Once we are going to work on it, it will be clarified. Don't imagine how to access and all as of now. So just follow me. Okay. 625, because I know you will get so many doubts here, but those will be clarified slowly as you start having hands-on. Okay. So I'll do one thing here. I'll write the requirement document. I think it's not, it's okay to write in the special document or theory document. It's better I write in the theory document. Why to maintain one more document? So I'll only write the requirement here in the theory document and explain. Okay, now? So requirement. So what is the requirement that we are going to work on this particular topic? Okay. So today's topic is mainly practical part. So practical about creating properties and section. Creating properties and section is a practical we are going to do. Okay. So that's a problem. That's a practical. Okay. Working with. So the practical is that one. Requirement is like, we want to create a new screen that business is asking you as a developer. You got a requirement, okay, saying that create a new screen to collect customers basic details. Customers basic details like first name, last name, age, DOB, gender. So they will clearly give you what type of property it should be, whether it is going to have local list of values or not. All that they will clearly give you. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. So like this, they will be giving you all the property names and types, everything. What should be the length of the property value? Everything will be. In case of properties, you don't need to use your brain. Okay. You can blindly take the requirement and do it. You need to use your brain where to create, because business people, they don't know organization class, division class, work class, they don't know. So now as a technical person, you need to think about where to create based on the architecture of the business, having good understanding. So create a new screen to collect the customer's basic details like first name, last name, and all. Okay. So customer details if you want to collect. So imagine that we have insurance framework group plus vehicle insurance, home insurance, health insurance. Like this, suppose when you have multiple implementations with one framework, collecting customer details, is it common for all implementations or it is specific? It is common for all implementations. So where do you create these things now? You would be creating this in the framework application. What is the batch number? 625, right? Did I create a document? No. 17, right? Okay. This is the requirement that we are going to implement to work on now. Okay. So implementation. So in the implementation part, so what do you need to create? First step, create properties. Create properties in the FW app context plus organization class. Why organization class? Generally, customer details properties are very common wherever you go. Actually, this organization class, as of now, I am teaching you because you are a very beginner. Even organization class is also not good place to create. You need to create somewhere else. I'll tell you where it is in future. Okay, that is not even in the inherited classes. Okay, so what next? Tell me. So properties here you will create section, in FW application, comma, organization class. So all this we can do by login to framework as well as implementation. You can create this in framework application by login, or by login to implementation itself, you can create within the context of framework. Is it possible or not possible? So probably we are not going to use framework application login. We will do everything in login is implementation, but doing in placing in framework. That is possible. So I'm going to do what now? Login to IMPL. Login to IMPL. You know how to log in. You know how to come to this place, yes or no? So now how do you create property? So I told you one point in the theory document. Property can be created under data model category. What is the category in which you create? Data model. So the navigation is right click on the class, create data model property. You do like this. Suppose I'll give the screenshot, just wait. Then whatever the class on which you right click there, the same class context will come here. Okay, you can change it. You can choose it to be HDFC. Because you are doing this by login to implementation, automatically it is taking implementation application. But I want to create inside framework, no, I can change it. That is possible. You give some name, okay. But if you can also right click on HDFC class, how do you right click? You can backspace here, up to here. And if you right click on HDFC class now, and then create data model property, you will automatically get the HDFC class loaded here. Application context you can change. Make sense? Clear, everyone? Online students, are you clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now the thing is that, okay. Now the thing is that, how do I access HDFC class here? Is it always if you come here, automatically work class will be loaded. You can backspace it. You can backspace here and then load. Instead of backspacing every time, you can add this into shortcut by pinning it. You can pin it in a shortcut. So you can click on this pin icon so that it will be added below. When you log into implementation, automatically you'll see work class. If you want to right click on HDFC class, you can right click here. This is just like a shortcut. Okay. Clear, everyone? As of now, inside the HDFC class, you have data model because you have at least one property. You have at least one property. If you open HDFC vehicle, there is no data model category. Why? I don't have any property. Suppose if I delete this property, this I can delete. I have created this just to explain something last time. Anything you create, you can click on delete icon. And while deleting, it will ask you for a comment. You can give a comment. It is deleted means you will see restore icon. Deleted. So if I refresh this now, if I refresh this, you see the data model is gone. Data model category will be shown in the class, at least if you have one rule of that category, at least one rule. As of now, we don't have any rules. So once we start creating, category also will be shown there. But to create it, how do you proceed? Right click on the class. Okay, now I'll write down here. Now let's create the properties. Let's create properties. For that, this shortcut pinning and all, I am not going to give a screenshot. You can do it. Okay. So now right click on first property. I'll write down. Right click on HDFC class, comma. Okay, not comma. Then create menu, create, then data model, then property, then property. So clear? That is the navigation we follow. You will be right clicking on. There are many navigations to do this. This is one of the navigations. I mean, like the primary basic navigation. Right click, create data model, property, and choose this property. And here you will get this form. This is called create form. This is called create rule form. Create rule form, where it will ask you about the label. It will generate the ID. First name. So first space name. And you are getting here ID without spaces. ID should not have any spaces. ID shouldn't have any spaces. So first name you got here. And then choose the context. Choose the context. For application, you choose what? FW. Class, I am not going to change. So once I change the application here, third parameter will change automatically. This one changed actually. Okay, for now, you don't have to make observation. Leave it. So after some time, I'll tell you that. Okay. Now, is it okay? Create and open. Create and open. So I'm going to create and open. Now you see the options to choose what should be the property. Now, as of now, it is not yet created. As of now, it is not yet created. If it is created, you would see delete button. You would see delete. If delete button is available means it is created. Delete button is not available means it is yet to be created. It's not yet created. Okay. Now, first name is the name of the property. Okay. What is the type? I want it to be actually holding a content like string. String means text here. So whatever the default option I got, it is okay with me. And in the UI also, it should appear like text box. Text box means PX text input. That is also okay for me. Is it going to display any choice to first name? No. So I'm not going to choose any local list. This option you would be learning later. This option you would be learning later. Understand clear everyone? So what are you going to do now? So accept the defaults. Accept the defaults and click on save. Click on save. You accept the default. Okay, I'm okay with everything. And then I click on save. Property is created. Property is created. Property is created. Done. Okay. So how do you know whether it is created or not? You have delete option. You want to delete, you click on the delete button. Gives the reason why you are deleting. And then what? Deleted. It will be deleted. So now here you go. Here you go now. See, if I close this, how can I open that form again? So you created in which class? HDFC class. You just go to HDFC class, expand this, and then, oh, I'm sorry. It is not loading because you have to refresh once. Just refresh this once. Okay. Refresh. Then you would see when you expand it, you would see data model. If you expand data model, you see rule type property. If you expand property, you'll see one property first name. So going forward, if you create more properties, those will come here. Okay, clear everyone? Done everyone clear? That is just for if you want to look at it. Now, if you click on this first name, click on this with your mouse, then you would see details are being opened. Remember this point. Once you create a property, you cannot open the property. Once you create property, sorry, I'm sorry, once you create property, you cannot change the type. You cannot change the type of the property. In this versions, you could not change it. It's not possible to change the property type. Suppose by mistake, I have chosen some different property type. I want to change it. What is the approach? Delete the property, create again with the same name. That's it. Okay. If it is very beginning of project, that will work out. But if it is middle of the project, means it will be a difficult, big challenge it is going to be. And this is done. You can close these things now. Next property I'm going to create. I'm going to create one more property. Right click, create data model property, and here last name property. What is the next property? Last name. I'm going to deal with creating last name property. So the last name property here I'm giving like, actually it is same as first name, correct? Now this time, previously you have chosen framework application context, no? Pega is automatically remembering that and giving you. If you want to change, you can change. But oh, I'm okay with all the options, no? But you make just an observation about these things. While you are practicing, you have to make an observation of these things properly. What do you do now? Save. Once you save, it is created now. Done. So now let's create date of birth. What is that? So date of birth property is a date property. Is what? Date property. You right click on this, create data model property again, and then date of birth is date property. Date of birth. So remaining context is okay. Whatever I'm looking for is there. So this property type you need to change. Click on the change link at property type. Choose a property type. Date only. What is that? Date only. I mean, like date only means the first one. I don't want time in the date of birth. As of now, I want only date. I'll select the date and then save it. Okay, now? Done now? Do what? Next. Age. What is the next property? You can also create property like this. If you have the property rule form open, this is called rule form. Rule details will be there. This is rule form. Property rule form is open here means you can click on actions, choose what? This is also another approach to create property. Okay, now? So I'd go for this. Create. Name of the properties. Age. Age is integer value. No? Age is integer value. So I'd be choosing integer value. Choose property type as integer. Choose integer. So once you choose integer, control also automatically change it to px integer. Okay, that is okay. Let it be, no problem. Okay, and then save it now for now. What next? Gender. Gender, you want it to be radio button. Local list values. Actions and then create gender. Create and open. And here property type is text only. See, gender value will be male or female. Prefer not to say some value. That is text value only. It holds only one value, but it displays a choice. It displays a choice. It is text in. It is not text input. It is what? The control you need to change. Change the control to radio button. Change the control to radio buttons. So how do you change is, you just need to backspace here up to px. Then you type R and down arrow. Then it will show matching with R. Px. After px R, the first one is radio button. So the first one radio button. So I'm going to choose this. Radio buttons. Clear? Now table type is equal to local list. What is that? Local list. You choose local list here. Local list. And table values here. It is going to ask you about table values. See, what are the values for the choice that you want to provide? I want to give one value as male. Another value as field. Okay, now gender after, what is the next? Email ID, email address. Email address, create and open. Text only, no. Email ad, I am not changing anything here. Okay, let it be like this. Otherwise, if you want to choose here, maybe PX email will be available. PX. So PX email means it will accept the email format only. Generally, that's how it works. Okay, now save phone number. What is the next one? Phone number. Length of the phone number. How do you control all that? We see later. So phone number. So the phone number is text property or integer property or double property. What do you think? So text double integer. See, integer value will have a range that is not like 10 digits range. It's even less than that. Double property, though it has range, for phone number, you should not use double. You should use only text. The reason is, in the database, phone numbers will be getting stored as 3 numbers dash 3 numbers dash 4 numbers. 10 numbers. No? So when you want to hold that value, anything which is combination of numbers plus any other text or text plus any other numbers or any symbols, that is considered as text only. So phone number you should always maintain as text only. See, actually, while working with Pega, you don't have to create the rules by yourself. Pega will provide OOTB rules. You want to see? First name. See, Pega would have provided py first name from a class data part. You could use that actually. You should not create your own rules when it is OOTB available. Then still, why are you creating? You are violating the best practice actually. Why are you violating the best practice and creating properties like first name, phone number, country? All these will be available in OOTB. The reason is, as a developer, I want to learn something. Beginner, no, I'm a beginner. I want to learn something from the scratch. I will see going forward how to use OOTB properties. Okay, that's what your intention. Your intention of creating properties from the scratch, though these are available OOTB, you would love to learn from the scratch how to create the things. Understand? So that's the reason why I have shown. Now, if you want to see those properties, you right click on this definition. I mean, like refresh this and you expand it. Data model you expand, property you expand. You would see all the properties. You would see what? All the properties. Yes or no? So you are seeing now all the properties like first name, last. If you want to open any property, click on that. Except property type, you can modify anything else. Except property type, you can modify anything else. Understand clear, everyone? Online students, are you clear?
Yes.
We didn't choose the length at all for the text.
No need to think about those things. We'll see
Okay.
later. Okay.
Hmm.
So are you clear so far? Let's
Yes.
start
Sir,
now creating section. Yes, go ahead.
sir, what about the data access part in it? There are two options
If
in
I am
it.
not going to tell you anything here, that will be covered going forward. We'll be working on all things. Okay. I will tell you only up to what is required for the next practical. Like that, in future, again, we will work on properties. That time, other options we will be working on. Everything will work on almost. Creating section rule to design UI. To design what? UI. So section rule you are going to create now. So creating FW application context, comma, organization class. Organization class. That's the context I'm going to use. So section rule you are going to create under user interface category. What is the category in which you create section rule? User interface. Then what is the navigation for creating section? Right click on class, organization class, create as usual, then user interface category. Then the category is user interface section. Where is it? This is PRPP. Right click on this, create User interface section. So now automatically Pega is choosing framework application context because you did it previously. It is remembering those things. That's okay. And here the name of the section is customer details. That's it. The section is used to design the user interface for customer details. So you can give a naming convention of SEC stands for section. So that when you look at the rule name, you will understand whether it is section rule. Flow action, I'll give FA. Okay, flow, I'll give FL, something like that. So I'm following that naming convention. It's not mandatory that you follow or in business applications, they follow or not. That's up to them. Create and open. Do what? So you create, you will see the screen. See, in these versions, by default, you see an editor for user interface design that is called view editor. We'll be learning about views in the Pega 24.2 version that we are going to have hands-on. That time I'll explain you what are views and all. But as of now, we want to go with traditional approach. For that, you need to click on convert to full section editor. Click on convert to full section editor. So where is full section editor link? Here is full section editor link. Click on this. It will ask you a confirmation. Are you sure to convert to full section editor? Yes, I am sure about it. I want to click on submit button. I got it. This one. Now in the section, in a traditional way, the sections, you will find one layout by default. That is what? Dynamic layout. Dynamic layout. It says that drag any number of properties, sections, UI elements. UI elements means these are the things. UI elements or any other dynamic layouts means inside a layout, you can have one more layout. So I'm going to drag and drop one control. Okay, drag and drop text input control into layout. I'm going to do that now. Text input and then drag here, drop here. Okay, now do what? Double click on the control or choose properties. Choose properties. Where is properties? You know, on the rightmost here, you have view properties. You can click on this or you can double click. Both will open the properties panel. This is called properties panel. Okay. This is called properties panel. Both will open the properties panel. Okay. Now the properties that you have created are in the same class as section. Yes or no? So then you place your cursor here. Which property you want to choose? Remember this blindly forever. Whenever you want to access a property directly, you need to give a dot. You need to give a type dot. It will show all the properties. Understand? So which property I want to choose? First name. Without typing the dot also it will show. Okay. If you click the down arrow, but I want you to learn this because that will be used. Okay. Very good. Property, first name. So now you click on submit here. In the pop-up window, you click on submit. This is like the two steps we have performed now. Step one is add a control into the layout. Step two is map the control to property. So you can also do like this. Already we have seen a message, drag any number of properties. You can also drag and drop properties. Okay, how do you know? Okay, I'll write down here. We can also drag the properties into layout. So now you can see here, last name property I'll drag. So here in front of every property, you have 6 dots, no? So place your cursor there. Drag last name. Drag last name. So place your cursor there. Hold your mouse left, that one button, left button, hold, drag here. Outside the layout, if you try to drag and drop, it won't allow. Inside, if you take it, it is going to highlight in the saffron color. At one place, you release it. This is like the two steps we have done, like adding a control plus mapping it to property, both are being done. Control adding plus mapping to property, both are done. Now drag all other properties. Drag all other properties. So first name, last name, date of birth, okay na? Age, gender. What is the next one? Email address you want to go with? Email address. It's going down, email address, and then phone number. Finally, so like this, you can drag and drop all the properties. These are aligned like stacked. Stack means one on top of one. You want to change the alignment. You can change it from the layout. So go to layout properties. Click on layout properties. You know what? You click on layout properties. Here you can select layout format. You can select. I'll be changing it to inline grid double. Inline grid double or triple, up to you. I mean, like, it's not up to you. I'm sorry. Business will tell you. So now if you click on submit, no, it will show arranged into 2 columns. If I choose triple, then 3 columns you'll get. You'll be getting what? 3 columns. I'm okay with 2 columns. And here container format, none. I want to choose other. I want to choose other. Container format, other. And then here, if I click the down arrow, I'll see formats. Suppose if I choose case icon, how it appears. Appearance is something different. See, background of this particular one. You will understand only when you have solid appearance. Errors. Change it now. This is container. Container means which contains the controls. Inside layout, container is also there. So this is one thing. Plus, next one, information. This is another one. So the color of the container will change. I am going with notifications. I'm going with what? Light green color you'll get. Light green color you'll be getting. Notifications. Understand clear, everyone? Save. Done. This is completed. Section is done. See, I have created one user interface with all the required controls, but no button to submit, no button to save, no button to cancel, because those will be automatically getting reflected when you include this section into some other rule. When you include this section into this section, I have included properties, right? So inside a section, what did I do? I have included all the properties. I have embedded all the properties into the section, correct? Now, third step I am going to do. So section, when you create in Pega, you don't have to add any buttons for submitting the screen and all. For submitting the screen, Pega provides default buttons that you need to use. So buttons, when you include the section into a rule called as flow action. What is that? See, flow, it is not flow, it is flow action. Action means the action you perform during the flow execution. See, ultimately, if you want to perform a transaction, you need to execute the flow. You need to execute the flow. See, properties that you have created, you have embedded into section. Now, the section you need to embed into flow action. At runtime, the flow action will give buttons to the section. Flow action can be created under process category. Which category? Process category. Okay. So flow action is container of section. Which provides the buttons like submit, save, and cancel at runtime. At runtime only it will provide, not at the design time. At runtime it will provide. So now what am I going to do? Okay. Third rule. What is the rule now? Third rule. So in a UI creation, the section you create, you don't need to add buttons. Pega will provide one more rule, flow action. Flow action, why the name flow action? In the flow, during the execution of flow, it will provide action buttons. It will provide what? So during the execution of a flow to the user interface, action buttons will be provided by a rule. That is called flow action. That is called flow action. So now third step, let's create a flow action. Let's create a flow action role, comma, embed the section into flow action, So here you go now. So you create this on the ordination class only, framework application one. Create process category. What is the category I told you? Process. This is flow action. Action during the execution of flow to the UI. To the UI, it will give you actions. What actions by default it will give? Submit, save, cancel. Name of the flow action rule is customer details FA. Customer details FA. Create and open. Create and open. So the section here is, so it will ask you, you are creating flow action, okay? So flow action should contain section. It holds section. At runtime, this section will not have buttons. Below the section, buttons will be added automatically by flow action. You need to click the down arrow here. You don't have to remember the names of the sections you created. If you click the down arrow, it will automatically display the section which you have created in the same place. So I can choose it from the drop down. Save this. So I have got all the rules that I need for UI. For UI, I need a screen with controls mapped to properties. So I created properties plus screen section. I want action to the screen. So I created flow action and embedded the section into flow action. So till now at runtime, I'll get the action. But I need to make the transaction, right? To make the transaction, which rule you need? Flow rule. What is the next one? Flow rule. So here the rule is flow action rule. This is flow action rule I have covered here. There is nothing much as of now to discuss about flow action. That's it. And below flow rule, what is the next rule? Flow rule. So flow rule can be created under process category. This is also process category only. Flow rule defines transaction defines transaction model. Defines the transaction model. It defines transaction model step by step. So let's create a flow, then I will explain you. So now when you execute a flow, it should start a transaction ID also it will generate. It will start a transaction ID also it will generate. Now tell me. So let's create flow rule, right? Let's create flow rule. Okay, next flow rule I am going to create. Let's create flow rule under FW application and which class? Organization class. Is it okay to create in the organization class and framework application? IMPL app and work class of IMPL app. Work class. Why you know? Organization is abstract class. In an abstract class, if you create a flow, you can create. It will become non-executable. Abstract classes cannot have execution things. Transaction cannot be initiated. If you want to initiate transaction, the one place is work class, concrete class, which is work class. So we would be creating the flow here, not in the organization. So organization is class is parent class of work class, correct? Pattern parent. Create, process, flow. Understand clear everyone? So now name of the flow. Begin vehicle insurance. Begin vehicle insurance is name of the flow. Remaining context is I'm creating in the implementation only because I want to make transactions in the implementation only, correct? So create and open. Create and open. I'm sorry. Now you tell me one thing. Will I be able to access a rule which is in organization class of framework application into implementation application work class. Is that possible to access or not? It is possible because this is child of organization. Now, when you create a flow, by default, you will be getting 3 flow shapes. Start shape, end shape. When you execute the flow, transaction begins at start shape, transaction ends at end shape. Okay. And in between the shape you got is assignment shape. What is the shape? Assignment shape. For an assignment shape, this is inward connector. This is outward connector. So Pega will provide an option to choose the flow action. Okay. It will provide in the outward connector. So right click on outward connector of, we can call, I'll write up. We can call flow action into the flow using assignment shapes outward connector. Okay, right click on outward connector. Then choose what? View properties. Okay, then it will open the properties panel where you can see flow action. Where you can see what? Flow action. So by default, there is no flow action with this name. By default, flow name, whatever you have given is reflecting here. So remove this, click the down arrow. So when you click the down arrow, you would see all available flow actions. You need to choose the one you want. I want to choose what? Customer details flow. After I choose this, if I submit this pop-up, the connector does not show any flow action name that you have selected, but it is there, chosen. It's okay, it will work fine. But the problem is that a developer will not come to know what flow action is called here unless he is going to double click and go inside. To make that visible outside, you need to copy this flow action name. Okay, I'll tell you. You need to copy this flow action name, copy the name. Okay, copy the name, copy this name. Okay, after you copy, paste the name in the label. Paste the name in the label. Copy this name and paste here. Understand? So paste it in the label. Connector label, that is submit. So what happens, name is displayed so that you don't need to go inside to see that. You can say now, okay, this here they called customer details flow action. 4 steps are done now. There is 5th step. Save. Okay, not save. So as of now, we are at diagram tab. We need to go to process tab. So now, whatever the steps I am going to do, blindly do it. You blindly do it. Tomorrow I'll explain. Tomorrow I will explain. Now, go to process tab. Go to process tab of flow rule. Here, process tab is there. In the process tab, here you have creates a new work object. Creates. So select the checkbox, creates a new work object. The checkbox you need to select. Don't ask me why. I will tell you tomorrow. This step you need to blindly follow. Flow, you know why you have created. You have created to design the transaction. Then scroll down. I'll explain you these things tomorrow at the beginning of session. So here you will find at work parties value is there, default. Don't ask me what is work party, what is default. Tomorrow it will come to. So here at the highlighted one, at work parties, choose PY case management default option. I'll show you. Default is there, no? Remove it. Click the down arrow. You'll see what? PY case map. Choose that, no? So that you will come to know tomorrow why you have chosen all these things and all. Save the flow. So once you save the flow, you can make the transaction. Save actions and then run. Now we can run the flow to initiate transaction. So run the flow. Once you run the flow, you would see transaction gets initiated. And your screen should be displayed, collecting customer details. Screen displayed or not? screen got displayed. I'm sorry. Like this, you can enter input the data here. This is form at runtime. At runtime. At runtime, when you execute the flow, what happened is flow action got loaded. Flow action got loaded, and which has inside which we have section. Section got loaded. When flow action loaded the section, it has also provided these three buttons: submit, save, cancel. So here first name, I'm going to enter some first name. Last name, I'm going to enter last name. Date of birth. What is that? Date of birth, I'm choosing something. Age. So we can calculate age based on date of birth that we do in future. Gender, email address, phone number, some phone number I'm going to write. Submit this. This is at runtime, you are submitting. After you submit, what happens to this data, you know? All these details will get stored into a table automatically. All the data gets stored into transaction table, which I will show tomorrow, So now when you execute the flow, you have made a transaction. If you run the flow one more time, that means you are making one more transaction. So this time I can enter data. Give me 1 minute, sorry. Click on submit. I'm sorry. Done. So we are done. After you click on submit, you are done. It will not display what you have submitted. By default, it won't display what details you have submitted. So we can design that, but not now. And this data, it will store into tables that I will show tomorrow. So today you have mainly done 4 steps: creating properties, creating section. The properties you have embedded into section. Then you created flow action. Section you have embedded into flow action. Then you created flow action you embedded into flow assignment shape outward connector. The shape here is called assignment shape. As we don't have time today, I did not mention that. Tomorrow I'll tell you. So assignment shape outward connector. Okay. And after that, you have done few more steps like creates a new work object, which you'll come to know tomorrow. Then you have executed the flow. So by clicking on action menu and run option, you have seen flow is executed and transaction is made. Runtime, you have got the screen. You are able to enter the data and submit the screen. Okay, clear everyone? You just need to follow this, everyone. Can I change the rule context too? Once you create the rule, you cannot change the context of it. If you want to change, save as the rule, copy paste. While copying, you change it. Old one you can delete. Okay. Okay. So I'll be sharing these documents of theory with requirement plus practical document. Tomorrow I'll be sharing. Today. Now in a minute I'll be sharing. Start practicing. Tomorrow we'll meet. Okay. You can wind up for today. We'll continue tomorrow. Any doubts about the same, I'll take up tomorrow morning. Okay. Thank you.